Hey, this is Stacia, and today we're going to be looking at the Moehller Attack. So this is a pretty cool opening. It comes from the Italian game. So let's just dive into it. It starts with the moves e4, e5, knight to f6, rook to c6, good move, knight c6, and bishop to c4. And this is the Italian game. And now black has two main moves, either knight to f6 or bishop to c5. So if knight to f6, we don't get our Moehller Attack, but if they go bishop to c5, we can play pawn to c3. Now this is the main line. It prepares d4 and b4, and yeah, it's just a good move. You don't commit your knight to the c3 square where it would actually block the pawn, right? Which a lot of my Sunday class kids who are like 500 rated, they'd be like, why is this not good? You told us to develop our pieces. Yeah, well, that is a good move. But once you get to the next level, you want to play moves like pawn to c3, which fights for the center, because we are going to thrust our d pawn into the center. So now knight to f6 by black, they would like to castle. And okay, I mean, you could play d3 here, but that's not the move. This is a slower way to play the position, but I really do enjoy the move d4 because it results in a more open game, and we're defending the pawn tactically, not tactically, we're just counterattacking, like we attack their bishop, so you don't have time to take the pawn. So, all right, they're going to capture. We take back, we're still on the bishop, and now bishop b4. And this follows one of Ben Feingold's lesser known rules, which is that if your bishop is attacked by a pawn on d4, you have two options. And the way you decide which one is that if bishop b4 comes with check, that's the correct one. Otherwise, you retreat and you maintain your pressure on the center. So in this case, it is check. And now we play knight to c3. And this is the first like weird move, right? Because that knight is pinned, in case you didn't notice. So that means our pawn's not really protected. So they can just take it. And take it they shall. So this is a pawn sacrifice. And if you guys know me, and you don't, then you would know that I love pawn sacrifices. Especially ones that look dubious. And this looks horrible at first, because it looks like we're getting killed on c3. Oh, but just wait. So just to give you a backup plan before we go into the Moehller, if you chicken out and you don't want to play the Moehller Attack because you're lame or something, you could always go bishop to d2. And now if they take, you're going to recapture with the knight, which defends the pawn. Yay. But this position is just equal. I mean, it's completely playable. You can always do this. But a testing way for black is to maybe take the pawn anyway, and then when we capture the bishop and they capture back, now we lost a pawn, right? Yeah, we did, except for one thing. We're going to get it back. Bishop f7 check. We just won a pawn. They take our bishop, and now hopefully you see the move. Queen b3, of course. That's a fork on the king and the knight. So we're going to win our piece back. And that position is, I think, still equalish, honestly. But I would much rather be white there. It's much easier to play white. Let's put it that way. Black has to defend for their life. So good luck. All right, so after knight to c3, which is our main line in the Moehller Attack, they played knight takes e4. And our response to this is we literally don't care. We just simply castle. We're prioritizing development like a true gambit. When people take things, you just continue your development. So Miss Stacia approves. And now they have a choice. They can take on c3 with a knight or a bishop. Which one is good? The answer is only one, so choose carefully. Yeah, and I feel like without actually knowing these lines, I would never know. But now it looks obvious to me. Knight takes is actually incorrect. They have to take with a bishop here. But let's understand why. And this is what will happen in a lot of your games, by the way. This is the most common move, like at the club level. So I'm giving you good stuff today. So after knight takes c3, we are going to capture, and they play bishop takes. And this is what they're hoping for, right? They're attacking the rook. Now we're going to play a very innocuous move? Innocuous? I don't know if that's a word. But knight to g5. What on earth are we doing? Are we hanging a rook? Well, I'll tell you that most people won't take the rook because they see that we're on f7 for one, and we can also throw rook e1 check. And this looks, you know, very unpleasant for black. So they won't take the rook right away. But what they might do is castle and defend the f7 pawn. Now, no grandmaster would play this. I'm just saying. But I don't play grandmasters. Okay, I play 1800s, and they absolutely blunder this on a regular basis. So if you're less than that, even more chance they blunder this, right? So after castles, queen to h5. Yeah, you can't take the rook because that's checkmate. So they have to play, I mean, I think h6 is the only move, right? You can't go g6. That's still checkmate. You have to go h6. And now the idea becomes clear. We attacked f7 a third time. Knight takes f7. We can capture that, no problem. And some people will play queen e8, but I mean, if they do that, I actually think there might be something pretty here. So that's why I'm going to do this. That's a double check. Right? That's a double check. Let's say they go king h7, there's bishop d3. All right, let's go here, I guess. Now we have double check again. And now if they go here, we have checkmate. Isn't that nice? Yeah, so there's that. And, okay, but queen e8 is silly anyway. You got to accept the sack. It's not even a sack, but okay. And then we're going to capture. You can capture the bishop or a queen here, actually. I like to do the bishop because after king h8, we just take. And after takes, that's mate. So a lot of times they'll do something like queen f6, but that does not matter at all. Bishop g5, that is a check after all. The king is still completely trapped in there. So the best move is this, just delaying mate. But that's not going to work out, right? That's still checkmate. So, yeah, that just works good. And if we take with a queen, which might be a better move, just because I like to play fun things. And after king h8, we have a shocking move here that we can play. And that's the move bishop g5. Would you like to take my bishop? Okay, that's checkmate. Very nice checkmate, right? Okay, would you like to take with a queen? Now your queen's not defending. That's checkmate. So, like, yeah, this is bishop g5 is just winning. But actually, after queen h5, everything's winning. I'll just tell you that queen h5, and you're great. You're fine. You don't have to worry about the position. You're just winning. All right, but after knight g5, I do want to say that black actually can play better moves. So let's look at what happens if black plays the best moves. After knight to g5, we already established they can't take the rook and they can't castle. So what on earth can they do? Well, a strong player will find the move d5, right? That actually just blocks out one of the defenders of f7. It also opens up the bishop. I mean, it's a desirable move. So what do we do here? Well, the answer is now we play fried liver style. Knight takes f7. Hopefully you know what the fried liver is. If you don't, check out a different video of mine. Or any video. But the idea of the fried liver is that we sack the knight, and the point is after here we have queen f3 check, and usually we're winning a piece in the fried liver, so I would probably go queen h5 check. Yeah, and after g6 we can actually take here because the queen on h5 is guarding the bishop. Okay, and if they go queen f6, oops, I'm sorry, wait, bishop e6, got to stop the check first, then queen f3, and then I was thinking queen f6 to block, and finally we can recapture this bishop. So that is one way to do this. I think this is good. Let me check with the engine. Oh, I'm wrong. we have to first take that bishop. Yeah, important detail. After this, you got to take this first. They can't take with the queen because they're pinned. They take with this. And actually, we are down material here. So we can get back our material here. And now white is winning. Okay, so that was what I wanted to show. Now, we're looking if they play the best moves, though. So after d5 and knight takes f7, this is why I like this line, because, I mean, I think this move is very hard to find. It's the only move, and it's queen to d7. I mean, what the heck is that? It blocks the bishop. I mean, it attacks the knight, but the knight's going to take a rook. So, like, this is not an intuitive move, I feel, and especially when a rook's hanging as well. So, like, yeah, but this is the only move that can save black. So now we can take the rook, right? Let's take it. And they should now take the bishop. If they take the rook, it's not good enough. I mean, if they do that, we have rook e1 check. Notice the knight's guarding that. If they go, man, what do? They can't really go king f8 because we always have this move, right? And that looks bad. Very bad. So they can't do that. I guess they could go king g8, but maybe queen h5 now. I like queen h5 now because if they take the knight, you know, we can just play here regarding that. But we're also attacking d5, I feel. So if they, you know, I don't know what they do. Let's say g6 checking our queen. Okay, then check. And that also is protected by the queen. So I think this is just all winning. So they cannot take the rook like that. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, take our rook. So after knight takes, actually the best move is to take the bishop. Okay, now they're leaving this threat, you know, in the queue. Now queen h5 check, g6. We can sack the knight. I mean, this looks so dangerous for black. But I'm basically showing you a computer defense because this is hard to find. Yeah, queen f7. You don't even take the knight. I mean, seriously? I would take the knight, but here's the problem. Queen h8. Queen h8 check. And after king f7, we can play bishop to h6. Now that's a cool move. We're coordinating our pieces. And we're also threatening this, I think, or maybe this. So the bishop is definitely controlling some interesting squares. Like if they take the rook, for example, we can go queen f8. And after king e6, they're running up the board now. You know, rook e1, obviously. And then, okay, you get the point. So anyway, I'm just trying to give you a feel for these positions. But what you really need to remember is that after bishop takes, knight g5 is a very good move. And black has to find those perfect moves in order to just be equal. And otherwise, they're just losing. So I think this move is quite good. They can't take the rook. They can't castle. They must play d5. Okay, and then after this, they can't even take the knight. They have to play queen d7. And then after we take the rook, they can't take this. They have to take this. And then we play check. And they can't even, I mean, they can play g6. It's the best move. But after the knight takes, they can't take the knight. They must play queen f7. I mean, that's just insane. I mean, it's so hard to see all this. Especially if they've seen it, maybe they'll play it. But most people are not going to see that. So knight g5 is actually, to me, a really good move. Even though it's not the best move in the position. So I will tell you that bishop to a3 is a more sound move, but it doesn't result in checkmates as often. It more results in just winning material and having winning position. And then you will need to convert the positions, and they're not all that easy to convert. Like black will get a lot of counterplay. So that is why I recommend knight g5. If you're under like 1500, I think knight g5 is 100% the right move. And even above that, it's definitely a move. So that's going to wrap up today's video, but I will do a quick recap of what we learned today. So the main line of what we looked at was e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and we have the Italian game, bishop to c5, and c3, going for d4, knight f6, d4, take, check, and knight to c3, pretending that we're guarding our pawn, but we're not. It's a pawn sack, castle, let them eat on c3 if they would like. Knight takes c3 is what we looked at today. Now I'll tell you that bishop takes c3 is an actual good move. We will cover that in the future. But after knight takes c3, pawn takes, bishop takes, oh no, our rook, but we literally don't care. Now there's two moves, there's knight g5 and bishop a3. So bishop a3 is the more sound move, but not as fun. Knight g5 is, if you would like to win, play knight g5. Knight g5, now they can't take the rook or castle because of queen h5. But d5 is the correct move here. And now we just take on f7. And now they have to find queen d7. I don't think they will. But if they do find queen d7, I mean, kudos to them. I think they deserve to be equal. Because that's just crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll be back with part 2 very soon. Okay, thank you. Bye.